In December 2020, we did a lot of gigs together at Hot Water, and obviously we knew we had you booked in to come in because one of our most requested guests ever just takes a bit of a while to get parents booked in. You had a really good idea. You wanted us to try and, between the three of us, write a comedy club song.
Oh, because I'm convinced that musical comedy is easy.
What is it? A pinnacle of the circuit?
I can't do the music. I'm saying some of the lyrics we could, if comics. This is why I'm not devaluing them at all, because they're all comics. I'm saying any comics can come up with musical comedy. I'm not saying anyone can.
You've just done the alphabet to Darude Sandstone.
Exactly.
You have proved your point.
I fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law. my mother-in-law.
Fritzel. Ritzel.
I think we can do it, though.
Do you know, genuinely, people have emailed in going, God, you're not a big fan of musical comedy, are you? And it's not that there aren't some fucking amazing musical comics, even on the circuit. It's just that, in terms of all comedy, there is an easy, there's an easy route to everything. There's the lowest hanging fruit on every possible subject. There's a joke that every comic in the room go, well, there's the first joke, there's the second, Kitson takes the ninth, Stuart Lee or Acaster takes the ninth, and then some guys go, it's the first thing you think of. And with some musical comedy, it is literally the first thing you think of every single time to a tune, which makes it more palatable. It gets a round of applause, and you're like, so that's lazy comedy that got a round of applause, and it makes comics go, meh.
I'm going to toss them some bail in the fact that I imagine it's harder. Like, I don't do, or I try to think I don't do that lowest common denominator. But
no, you definitely don't.
But I might if it had to rhyme.
Yeah.
If it had to rhyme, I might have to say Willy Poo Poo instead of whatever.
Well, that's what the two forms of comedy.
I want to know what the alternative is.
Dick shit.
The two forms of stand-up that often take that first easy option, the first slip road, is comparing.
Yeah.
Where people are like, I know you did a generic thing that other people say, and it's almost someone else's bit, but it's fine because you're comparing. Like, there's a weird...
I hate that.
No, you don't. You won't accept it.
No, but I hate that idea. And I also hate the idea that if you're a compare, you can nick what other fucking compares are doing because it's comparing. No, I wrote this. Go and write your own put-downs. Yeah. I hate it, you know.
To a certain extent as well, there's almost like audience interactions. There's been a few instances of mates pulling off mates' bits because they were like, no, I wrote that. And it's because it was done, it's a bit of material under the guise of audience interaction.
I've had loads lifted. And I've said to people, I did that. And they're like, oh yeah, but it's comparing. It's like, nah, it was me comparing. It was me. It wasn't just...
Yeah, it's not a stock line.
I haven't got that from the big book of comparing.
Yeah.
Like...
And just because you compare by numbers doesn't mean that we all compare by numbers. Exactly. All the best compares have idiosyncrasies that don't make them like, okay, what's your name, what's your job, and if there's a person in your group and you don't know who the fucking idiot is, it's probably you.
And it plays on the audience not really knowing what comparing is still.
Yeah.
Like, credit to Paul. Like, it's only because Paul went big on the videos that people have started realising that fucking comparing's good.
Yeah.
People used to think...
People think he invented it as well.
Well, that's what I'm saying about, like, how in the same way that acts think that you can just nick what other people do, audiences think that we all just do the same. Because, like you said, people have said to acts, oh, you just do what Paul does, like asking people what they do in that. And I think because compare isn't as understood as the others, people think that it's just, I've been asked, like, and I'm sure you, well... Like, oh, they think you come out the kitchen sometimes. They think you just fucking, did it take you long to take your apron off before you went on stage? Yeah.
You should really give it a go. You're good at this. You should you should do a set.
And that's sorry, Adam, that's because until, well, I don't know, there's no comparing ever on telly.
No. And there should be.
Oh, there is on Live at the Apollo. Except it's just a set. It's a set with an intro.
Exactly. So all them old shows, like the ones I used to watch, and you probably used to watch, you might be a bit young, but like Live at Jongleurs and Edinburgh and Beyond and all that.
That was the one that Tommy Tiernan did in the late 90s.
Is it The World Stands Up?
No, it wasn't.
That was a good one.
Was it? No, it was like... It was a weird late 90s, and Tommy Tiernan properly compared it, did bits and interaction. It was literally called something like the stand-up show.
Oh, it might have been that. I think it was, there was one on ITV.
And it was properly compared.
There was one on Channel
by
5
Tiernan,
called
who's
Gas.
a legend, yeah.
Maybe like the success of Paul, although like I was about to say maybe the success of Paul will lead to more of it being on telly, but when I meet like TV producers and stuff in London, to this day they've not even heard of Paul. Which is mental considering he's an arena comic.
It's so stupid.
You're talking about like how audiences sort of don't respect the compare, but they have like this preconception that you're not a comic. But when you are a comic and you see a good compare, like you two are two of the best in the country, and I hate comparing when either of you are in the room because I don't put myself in that bracket of comparing.
But I'm still like that when I compare and he's in the room, and I compare when Mick Ferry's in the room, and like all these fucking amazing compares that when I started doing 10 spots were comparing.
Yeah.
Like obviously starting Beat the Frog and Dan's on, and you're like, oh fuck, and like doing the Gong Show and Mick's on, and other people like that. I still don't like it.
Yeah.
And it's how I imagine, like, okay, I don't know, like if Flintoff's in the crowd, Joe Root might be a bit, Flintoff's watching. Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, being in the room with people you respect any time in comedy makes you go, I want to be good because I rate this person. But comparing is a smaller pool of people who are good at it. And like Danny's one of the best. And there's probably about 10 other acts that I really rate as a compare. Well, there's hundreds of decent comics.
About 4 for me.
Yeah. And it is true. It is true. And also what you end up doing is this is a weird thing that compares will do. You start timing yourself against how quick they are and where you go. Like it's hard sometimes to watch it as just like you've got your set coming up and you're just enjoying it. I find myself sometimes seeing where you'd go with it.
That's the best
and timing how quick you are with it. You're like lightning fast sometimes. And like watching other comics and you go, I wouldn't have gone there, I'd have gone there. And it's a weird thing you do. You get a little bit Rain Man-y with it. You're going, I'd go there. Like it's a funny, weird thing being in the room with another comic.
I think that's the best bit though. Like watching you go, and then me going, I'd have gone there and then you'd have gone there. Yeah. Like that's why I honestly still don't know in the year of our Lord 2021. But this is the thing though, like I don't know how like everyone doesn't want to compare.
Yeah.
Because like going out and smashing a set, closing, and having everyone like love you and that is great, but it's still not as good as smashing it comparing, I don't think.
No. The reason I don't compare
that improv, boom, like that.
Is the most live, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the I remember you saying something to me about material, about when people can't turn over material, they can write great material. And then there's people who have great material, but it's 6-7 years old. And then there's other people who can write great material within 6 months, a year and a half, it's turned over. And you literally said, well, yeah, because they're better at it. That's being better. Like having a great set that's 10 years old is great. There's only a few hundred people have ever been able to do it. Being able to turn that over every year and a half makes you even more elite. Like that's the same as the comparing buzz where you're like, you've done it and you've seen it and you've done it yourself. Where,
he didn't mean that, but that was fucking stupid. You've done it and you watched them do it. You were there. Do you remember? Do you remember that time he did it?
You were being so like, oh God, that was brutal.
It was really fucking funny.
Those moments, and it doesn't matter if it's in a set or comparing, where something is truly ad-libbed and it's in the moment and it's 1 in a million, that is such a beautiful moment in stand-up. And my second favourite bit is watching a comic try and replicate that the next time because they're like, I want to do it again, and it doesn't work as much.
Done it loads.
Sorry. Anyone in from Coventry?
Well, there's a difference though. What's funny is like, I've replicated loads of stuff and pretended I've done it for the first time.
You're American.
Yeah. That's great when it happens.
Yeah.
But when people are like, is anybody in from this specific part of America?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't work.
It takes the magic off it.
I think there's a skill in doing an improv the second time and making it look like you've just done it. And I think that's why it's a separate skill, and that's why the dudes we were talking about who haven't written material in 10 years, there's still a different level in them. So there's the ones that haven't written a new joke in 10 years, but they fucking perform it like it's the first time they've ever done it.
Smash.
compared to the people who haven't written a joke in 10 years and just whiff it out. Like, that's a skill in itself. So you can almost
being able to perform your old shit that you hate,
like it's brand new,
like you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
I can't
like going over saying hey to your family that you hate, that you've been with for 35 years. Hello, June. Yeah, I still love you. Like that.
My favorite is the girlfriends or partners of those comics. They're at the back. They're at the back, and if their battery ran out on their phone, they just get a fucking bus. They're literally. If I have to watch.
I know people who aren't in comedy that have been been with me to gigs that know some of these people's stuff.
Yeah. It's like I get tweets sometimes.
That's not right, is it?
No.
Mate, Carl.
Yeah.
Carl worked. You were talking about when you worked at Baby Blue before you were at Hot Water. Yeah. You were there for years. There's some sets
I could do front to back with songs, with every...
Particularly with
songs, you say?
Mate,
But I love the material.
Yeah.
It was great, but I just knew it inside.
I think that's a good thing. I don't think you would know it as much if you didn't like it, because you'd switch off. The fact that you do know it is because you want to hear it again.
Yeah, so Benny Boot used to do Blue every couple of months. And he'd do the same stuff, and every time I go, that's fucking... he's my favourite comic.
He's in
a monk.
He's a monk.
He's in Australia.
No, he's in a Tibetan monastery, and he's a monk.
Yeah, hack.
He's the only monk with a skateboard.
Benny Boot's my favourite ever.
So just go back to what you were saying before. Like, I don't do much comparing because, like you were saying, everyone should want to do more of it, or everyone should want to do it. And I like doing it every now and then. You know, we do the Secret Sunday gig sometimes, and I like hosting.
Sorry, I just want to clarify. I didn't mean everyone should do it. I think everyone
should want to do it.
Should be able to do it.
Yeah.
Like, you should want to be able to do it.
Yeah.
If you know you can do it, but you just don't want to do it, and then you just want to close. I'm not saying everyone should have a go at comparing.
Yeah. I'm too competitive as a person, which is well documented on this podcast.
I bet you're not.
I fucking am, lad. 20 quid. So, because I know I just can't put myself in the bracket of comparing as you two or Mick, as you were saying before, or Paul. So I don't do it that often because I know I'm not the best and can't be the best at it. So I'm not really interested. It's same reason I don't play Call of Duty. I get shot every time I walk out with a gun. So I'm going to play FIFA, which at least I've got a chance of winning the game.
You didn't start doing it early enough. Me and Danny had a similar route of started comedy and compared straight from the off. Like, that's all in my head. I was like, I just want stage time. You were way further down the sets route.
Yeah.
You were like Scott Bennett's the same. He had to start asking to do comparing, but by then you're a headliner. You're further down the line, and you're like, comparing's a bit of a hassle. But for me, it was at one point it was 3/4 of my diary.
Yeah.
If I hadn't have had comparing, I wouldn't have been a professional comic.
But I think you get on quicker because you get to be on bills and earn money with headline acts that if you weren't comparing, you'd be doing the middle for fuck all.
Stage time, lots of it.
Like, I think a big part of the comparing is being quite likeable, personable, and setting the night up. What I think I can do is I can do the improv, which is why I don't hate getting heckled, especially if I'm closing, because I'm always like I'll come off a Hot Water sometimes, and like one of the staff will be like, "Fucking cunts in there tonight, aren't they?" I'm like, "No, they've just joined in."
A bit of back and forth.
I quite like that made tonight's gig different to last night. Do you know what I mean?
Even though you did the same put down.
The exact same put down. Give me 6, kid. And I'll come to where you work and kick your man in the tits.
That
Whoa, that's just someone with a family business.
Wow. That is not a good way to make a living, is it?
That is not the put down. I don't come to your local corner shop and help you stack the shelf. What?
I don't come to where you work and kick your mum in the tits. Because that's your job.